Bye.
Tell Congress.
It's Justin. The behind-the-scenes live stream starts momentarily. But first, thanks to our wonderful sponsors. I don't know if you just saw the news, but average U.S. household debt just hit $152,000. That's mortgages, cars, cards, student loans. But the national debt just hit $37 trillion. It's all going up. Ask yourself this. When the system hiccups, who bails you out? It's not the Fed, not the politicians, and that's why I own gold. Gold doesn't need a CEO, doesn't need missed earnings. It doesn't freeze your account on a Friday at 4:59. While they print, gold just sits there doing what it's done for thousands of years. Store value. If you're done playing musical chairs with your savings, get something real in your hand. That's why you should try our good friends Kirk Elliott Precious Metals today. Goldwithjustin.com. Kirk and the team going to walk you through what they're doing, whether you're a seasoned pro when it comes to buying precious metals or you're just getting started. Call Kirk and the team today at 720-605-3900. That's 720-605-3900, or go to goldwithjustin.com to find out how.
Or 2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Wow. Looks like they're finally gonna get paid. We told you Friday, and it looked completely like something else, fully different than what we thought was going to happen Friday with TSA and the airports, just in time for spring break. But Trump had to step in and save the thing, this executive order to get those folks paid. Hopefully that'll lift some of the strain off these airports and folks traveling during spring break. We'll get the latest on that and much more as we roll right along this morning. Back at it, folks.
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now today's Big Three.
Yeah, the stories that matter most. Should be talking about these around the water cooler, the dinner table, no matter where you are. Powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. Dave Galloway and the team ready to help you with whatever it might be. Whether you want to buy, you refi, home equity line of credit. We've done all three. And we've saved thousands each and every time we work with Dave and the team. I suggest highly that you reach out and see how they can help you today. Just like they've helped so many people to listen to this program as well at hhmlending.com.
Number one.
Yeah, it's a big story, and it continues to develop. Pakistan prepared now to host some talks with Iran and the U.S. in coming days. Trump agreeing to send 20 large, or Trump says Iran has agreed to send 20 large oil vessels through the Strait of Hormuz as a tribute and a sign of respect. And we'll see how the markets react to that this morning, as it seems there's still lots of bombing, lobbing missiles here and there. Attacks continue on really on all sides. What is it plan out to be? And I think there's a reason for this. So I'm going to walk you through what I think is really going on behind the scenes coming up.
We have emissaries, but we also are dealing directly. And as you know, they've agreed to send 8 boats 2 days ago, and then they added another 2, so it was 10 boats. And now today they gave us as a tribute, I don't know, I can't define it exactly, but they gave us, I think out of a sign of respect, 20 boats of oil, big boats of oil, going through the Hormuz Strait. And that's taking place starting tomorrow morning. Over the next couple of days, a lot of boats. We have emissaries, but we...
He's very excited about that, and that could have massive implications on the markets and how things open up. By the way, this whole thing, a lot of question about where all of this came from, Trump's plans, what he would do, what he wouldn't do. Well, we've got interesting archive footage going back to 1987. It kind of walks, it's like he's a time traveler walking it through. We'll explain and give you the latest on that. The field is set now, folks. Republicans have their nominees, at least for Attorney General and for the Secretary of State, amongst a couple of other races as well coming up in November. They have a nominating convention, which we told you about last week. This is the nominating convention that took place over the weekend. Both Eaton County prosecutor Doug Lloyd as the Attorney General and Macomb County Clerk Anthony Forlini nominated and will be on the ballot for Republicans coming up in November.
Number 3.
Both of those individuals on this program before. You'll hear from them again shortly, maybe even sooner than later. No Kings weekend, the protests all over the week. I got so much footage of this, some of the best coming out, including clips of the people, and this is my favorite to watch when this happens. The ones who have no idea what they're even doing there. Some of them, well, they didn't stay mostly peaceful. Some of them got kind of violent. And no matter what the media tells you, we'll give you some of the footage and clips from the weekend so you can be up to date. Plus the people out in the streets, I'm sure the media didn't tell you about. Massive showing in D.C. Pro-Trump, in fact. Imagine that. They wouldn't show you.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
All right. Coming up, I just got confirmation. Eaton County prosecutor and candidate for Attorney General as a Republican, Doug Lloyd, will join us coming up this morning about 9:35. Hang on for that. The Trump time traveler video is making the rounds right now. And it's interesting because it's old footage. And all these questions, it's interesting, they asked him. He hasn't really ever changed positions. So it's fascinating to watch when you see people sort of bring this up to well, he said no new wars, and he said he wouldn't do this, and he said he wouldn't do that. Well, if you go back, in fact, they did, the 1987, and you pull the audio, the video, I think it was with Barbara Walters when he sat down for this interview.
Because I'm running for the presidency. I'm here because I'm personally tired of seeing this great country of ours being ripped off.
But as far as Trump is concerned, our allies are only part of the problem. The real culprit is Iran.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in a war?
Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean we take their oil?
You go in. You're
How
gonna have
do
a
we
war,
go
Barbara.
in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we go in? What do we do?
Excuse me.
Yeah?
You're going to have a war, and it's going to start in the Middle East.
What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in?
I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations, and I mean grab it and keep it, and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
There it is, 1987. President Trump, Barbara Walters. You know, it's interesting because it's essentially the tactic, the strategy we see. But I don't know how this all is going to completely follow through and play out. I think anybody that tells you they do, just full of it. You can't possibly know. We can know what he said before. We can know what the president and seems like has always intended to do there. We can keep an eye on that and how things play out. But we don't know exactly because there's any number of variables. But it does appear that this is part of the strategy. Get in, get the hits done, the objectives of taking out the ability to lob missiles. Not just on American bases, because certainly they're doing that, but across the neighbors there. It's not just Israel, by the way. They got this board of peace there now, all these other nations throughout the Middle East that they've got this deal with. And you remember that just announced earlier last year. But part of this deal, make sure the nuclear capabilities are no longer there and shore up this oil situation, which is, this is part of it. Now, you're going to say it's the oil, but there's much more to it. The petrodollar involved. And if you want to go into a long, lengthy discussion on this, we can. But it has to do with, of course, China and Russia, the BRICS nations, Saudi Arabia involved in that as well. They're part of that. So is India. Some of these nations in that alliance kind of being picked off here one by one. And I think that's a big part of what we're seeing play out. It's just a piece of it. Trump reportedly wants to take the oil in Iran as Tehran targets water power facilities in Kuwait. That's the latest CNBC reporting that. Trump telling the Financial Times that he could take the oil and seize the export hub of Karg Island. President also warning that the U.S. would completely obliterate Iran's electric generating plants, oil wells, and Karg Island if a deal is not reached to immediately reopen the strait. So we now know that at least 30 ships are or have moved through, and either have or are going to move through. And that is a step in the right direction. Is that the number that normally move through? No. Is that up to full 100% back to normal? No, but it's a step in the right direction. And I think, see, this is the other thing. We constantly see things in the news. Oh, Iran says they're going to do this, or Iran said that, or, oh, the president's full of it. You have to realize who's being quoted. We don't know, because we don't even know who the leadership is anymore. We do know that whoever he's talking with has the ability to keep the strait open or allow ships to pass. How do we know that? Well, we know that because they have allowed these ships to pass, certain selected ships. So those are some of the updates. There's more. There have been strikes. In fact, one American plane, an AWAC plane, I believe it was, very critical, crucial to activities there, monitoring what's happening on the ground, in the air, et cetera. AWAC's plane was taken out in Saudi Arabia on the ground at an airbase due to one of these attacks. So the attacks continue to ratchet up a bit, and these are things that have to be considered as well. The other thing is there's more than oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. So there's some other things that are hitting and impacting markets, and of course the world economy that could play a role. As it looks right now, Dow futures are in the green, stocks on the rise as Trump again signals U.S.-Iran war talks. Now, do you remember? Seems like it was the same thing that happened last week. We keep an eye on this and the latest. Going to No King's Day next. The protests that didn't get much coverage, and the clowns that were out with a circus over the weekend as well. On the way. Hang on.
From the Midwesterner this Monday, March 30th, I'm Robin Kaufman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. It's spring again, and Governor Whitmer's Michigan Public Service Commission has approved another 9-figure electricity rate hike for consumers' energy. The $276 million hike follows a $153 million increase a year ago. Now, the head of the company claims the rate hike is helping customers by securing the grid and giving them the tools to reduce and manage their bills. In other news, Michigan State Senator Democrat Valerie McMorrow thinks her competition for the Senate primary likes to fan the flames and stoke division just to get attention. Her words there. She's calling out Abdul El Sayed's plan to tour Michigan colleges with a known anti-Semitic streamer named Hassan Piker. For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
This is a
Good morning, folks. Thank you for being here with us today. Please stand by for the. My voice is a little out there. We've been fighting this. I don't know what you call it, cold or something. I don't know what it is. Trying to figure that out. And I think I'm on the other side of it, but I'm not quite sure yet. I see rumblers aren't able to rumble this morning. Guys, we'll try and get that worked out here. Hang on. Let me see if I can try something different. I know we had an issue on Friday there. Locals is up, so we'll say good morning to the folks on Locals here in just one moment. Let me see if I can get this plugged in for you in just one moment. Thank you for your patience. You're watching a behind-the-scenes live stream with us this morning, and don't forget to click share. We definitely need your help getting the word out, making sure that people hear the news they won't hear anywhere else, the stories that matter most. Over on Locals today, the VIPs in the house. I see, Dana, I think it is the allergies, Dana. I really do, because the trees are budding and dealt with a little bit of that yesterday. Good morning, Mando. Good to see you. Thank you, Trucker. Thank you for the heads up, by the way. Thank you, Gritter. Good to see you, Hemi. Ryan, good to see you, too. Let's see. Who else is in the house today? I see Patriot Dean, one of the lifers. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, as always. On the book. And by the way, let me know if you see Rumble get up and running. I think there's a problem with Rumble. I keep getting this message. Failed to be updated. Stream failed to be updated for Rumble. And I think maybe it's just a Rumble issue. I'll see if I can get around it somehow, folks, but I just don't know. Let me try to delete this and start from scratch. I'll try one more thing. Thank you, Elena. I appreciate it. Good to see you, by the way. John, good to see you. We're still over on the tube. John's on the tube this morning. Bruce on the book. Lady Vu on X. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. Got to jump back on the air. We'll see if we can try to fire this up one more time. Here we go. Back on the air. About 30 seconds. Yeah, I keep getting the same message. I don't know if it's a Rumble thing or if it's an us thing. It probably is Rumble. This is why we do all these different platforms. So, by the way, if you haven't done it yet this morning, make sure you share over on Facebook. You help us break the algorithm. You can win something cool from the Justin store, justinbarclay.com/store. T-shirts, tees. We got mugs. We got goodies, all kinds of things. And over the last week or so, we've been making you a winner. We pick someone at the end of the show, and you could win just for helping us out. Hang on, folks. Back on the air. Doug Lloyd joining us. He's a Republican nominee for Attorney General coming up a big election in November. He's the Eaton County prosecutor. The Eaton County prosecutor will be on the ballot along with the Macomb County clerk, Anthony Ferlini, as the nominee for the Secretary of State, as well as others who have been nominated over the weekend with a massive convention happening in Novi. We'll get to the latest on that coming up. Plus, I mentioned this earlier, but the videos are coming out, and boy, they are astonishing. How about the mom and the daughter that have no clue why they're at the protest over the weekend, the No Kings protest? Should have been called the No Brains protest. It's just, they had no clue. We don't know why.
You got mom and daughter, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes,
and you
sir,
are?
Yes, sir. My name is Melissa Group.
Melissa and?
Mia Group.
Mia. We're going to start with Mia. Mia, why are you out here?
To protest and make a better democracy.
This is democracy, madam. Young lady. Trump won. These elections have consequences. That's what you're seeing play out. These people don't like it. They can't really tell you why. They can't really articulate what it is that they're doing. And I don't know. And now she's just she's a little girl. I don't know that I would expect her exactly, but I don't think mom's any better.
And your sign, this is a together sign, I guess. To explain your together sign, Mia.
So it's
Paid for by George Soros.
supposed to be about, like, we get to make a statement and they just silence us and they don't get to do that.
I want to say and God bless her, she's a little girl. So there's really she may be 12 years old, but let me just to the obvious. They're trying to silence us. Who would that be? Do you know they even had a No Kings protest in the UK where these people have a king? What? Are you... I can't say the words that I want to say right now on the radio.
Have the right.
You have the right to do that, Mom. Melissa, just what does it
Not
mean?
only do they have the right, they're not being silenced. They're being interviewed by a guy that's on TV. Listen, when your thing is being pushed and sponsored by the media, even certain television stations in town, 13. We get the updates. Here's where you can find the No Kings protest this weekend. They're literally promoting your thing.
For you to have your little one out here today, and how important is it for you?
Well, I have 3 girls, and so it is so important to build a better future for them. We are here to be the light, not to squash it out, and so it means everything to have my daughter with me.
I have no idea. There's more of this, and we got footage, pieces after pieces after pieces, and of course, some not so peaceful stuff out there as well. We'll share that with you coming up, and also the footage from the people that were marching in the streets over the weekend. The media didn't want you to see. It was massive in Washington, D.C. We'll get to that coming up here in just a little bit. Let me grab a phone call here. Gail, good morning. Welcome in.
Good morning, Justin. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I. By the way, I did not go to the No Kings protest this time.
You didn't make it?
No, I wasted my time in September and chose not to.
Oh, okay. So what did you do instead?
Oh, I just posted something. Basically, I said that based on all the actions and the results of the actions of the Democrats, if anyone votes Democrat, they're one of 2 things. Either an idiot or one of Pavlov's dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, if I were one of these people, I would pick Pavlov's dogs because then I could blame somebody other than myself.
You know, that's unfortunate. And thank you for the call, Gail. That's the unfortunate thing. When you look at this, these people have been programmed. They are victims. Because a lot of them, again, have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea why they're there. And again, I think largely, and this is the interesting thing, the more and more they do this, the more and more they're just going to get fully and completely ignored. That's how I see it. Hey, let's talk some law and order. In fact, coming up in just a moment, Doug Lloyd joins the Eaton County prosecutor. He'll be running as the Republican for the Attorney General slot on the ballot coming up this November. We'll talk to him about what matters most and getting Michigan back on track after this on West Michigan Live.
It's 9 FM.
Hello, everybody. How we doing?
Don't miss our 2026.
All right, folks. Did Rumble come up at all? Let's check. Did Rumble end up coming up at all? Let me see. Doesn't look like it. Nope. All right, Rumblers. Thank you for being here. If you're watching from, if you're normally a Rumbler and you're watching on a different platform, thank you for being here. Thank you for clicking share. We appreciate it. Where do I find you on YouTube, Barb? Oh, yeah, you just type the name in. Here, I'll show you real quickly. If you go, let me just show you what it looks like. YouTube.com/. and you type my name in there. Actually, there it is. There we are. But just type in Justin Barclay right there, and you'll see my channel. This one is the live one. But click my channel here. It's that one with the red face. That's it. And you just click that. Now you're live. That's how you find us on YouTube. All right. There you have it. Like I said, if I don't have, well, you know what's funny, Sherry? We got some cold medicine yesterday because, like I said, I don't know if I have a cold. I don't know if allergies. I don't know what it is, but I take some Sudafed, and usually that'll knock it right out, along with all the natural stuff I do to kind of attack it, vitamin C and everything else, you know. But my wife had to go in and buy the Sudafed yesterday, and she had to show her ID to get some cold medicine. Because I was worried. I said, honey, how are you going to vote coming up in November, you know? She got it figured out. All right, Doug Lloyd, Eaton County prosecutor, with us right now. Looks like I'm going to do it real quick. Tess, good morning, sir. How are you?
Wonderful, Justin. How are you? How are you?
Fantastic. Hey, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much. It was a wild weekend, and we were blessed to actually win the nomination.
It's incredible. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of momentum there. We're going to talk about that coming up. We'll be live back on the radio here in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Sounds great.
And get you on. But yeah, it sounds like it was a really good weekend, and there was a lot of good things that took place this weekend.
And well, there was a lot of great people that were at the Vibe, and a lot of great vibe that I was feeling for the whole weekend.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Well, thank you, sir. Hang on 1 second. We'll be right back with you. I'll just put you on hold here. Dollar Store Zyrtec works great. 1 pill lasts all day, Jason says. Is that an allergy medicine? This very rarely do I get it, but I think it has to be allergies, and I'll tell you why. Well, I mean, we've had kids sneezing and coughing and stuff like that, and I've been around people that. But last week I was in Indiana and like all the way down south, and they've got different things are flowering and blooming and all that right now than they are here. Then I came back up here, and everything's starting to wake up here, and so I think it probably is. I think it probably is allergies, but I don't know for sure. But usually what I do is I just try and throw everything I can. Try and throw everything I can at it. Because the two things I need to be able to do. Breathe and talk. I got to be able to breathe and talk. Stand by, folks. Okay. They're just letting the news folks know to make sure they roll some audio for us. Then that way they can use these clips throughout the day if they have any. If Doug makes some news here. All right, guys, stand by. Double whammy. That's right. I know, Mary. It's just like out of the blue. Not much you can do about that, though. Got to be able to breathe and talk. I need both of those faculties. All right, hang on, folks. Back on the air. Stand by. Here we go. About a minute left. Markets are open. Let's check that again. We're going to do a quick update. Holy moly. Up over 400 right now. All right, that's a big one. And if you haven't done it already, folks, go ahead and click share, whether you're watching Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, wherever it is. Well, I guess you can't watch it. Locals or Rumble today. But thank you for clicking share because that'll help us get the word out, break the algorithm, particularly on Facebook. That are up to shenanigans. At the Dollar Store Zyrtec, Jason. I'm going to take your word for it. Maybe I have to try some of that out. All right, here we go, folks. Back on the air.
779-5989. 616-779-5989.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend, Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
Back at it. All right, so we're open now. The Dow and the futures went real time. Dow up over 400 points after Trump says the U.S. is in serious talks to end Operation Iran and open the Strait of Hormuz. So, again, you know how these things go. I'm just giving you a little snapshot. I don't even know if it'll stay that way throughout the day. News breaks, and as it does throughout, I'm sure you'll get plenty of updates and movement either way. And here's the story. You need to be ready. If you're going to retire, it doesn't matter whether it's 10, 20 years down the road. Maybe it's today or tomorrow. You got to be ready to go. And you got to feel like you can do that and sleep well at night. This roller coaster ride that we're on, it has to happen. Things have to get straightened out. But you don't have to feel like you're on that roller coaster ride. You know, you get a little nauseous every now and then. You know, those ups and downs. Well, the folks at Talon Wealth, Mike Lester and the team, want to help you. They take a holistic approach so you can sleep well at night, know that you're in good hands. Reach out today. GuardingYourNestEgg.com is the website. You can call them at 616-661-1000 and tell them thank you for supporting the program as well. We appreciate all of that help. It was a big weekend, folks, over the weekend. If you were paying attention, lots of delegates from across the state set out to hit the ground at Novi there for a massive convention that would actually select the folks who are going to be running. Now, this is how it works here in Michigan, but in other places it's a little different. Those delegates select the nominees for Attorney General, for Secretary of State, and other races that we'll talk about down the road as well. Gentleman who should be familiar to you, we've had him on the program before, is the Eaton County prosecutor, Doug Lloyd, winning as the nominee for the Attorney General. Folks saying a strong ticket right alongside the Macomb County Clerk, Anthony Ferlini, who will be the nominee for the Secretary of State. And Mr. Prosecutor joining us now. Doug, thank you so much for being here with us today and giving us the latest up. First of all, congratulations. What a big weekend.
Thank you, Justin. It's great to be here. And that was an amazing weekend. I had never got the chance to actually be a delegate before. So to not only show up as a delegate, but as also the candidate, that was quite the experience. And it was great to just see so much.
Uh-oh, we lost Doug there just for a second. We might be able to get him back here. If we don't, we'll jump on the phone. Thought we had a solid connection here, though. All right, Adam, I'm going to give you his phone number. In the producer's booth, we'll have Adam jump on and see if he can get Doug back on. I'm not certain what happened there. I know he was mobile. He was in the car, so maybe that's what contributed to the issue here. Let's see. Hello. All right. No, we lost him. All right. So, Doug, if you can hear me, we're going to try and call you on the phone, or you can try that backup number, and we'll go from there. As I mentioned, though, it was a unique convention. Folks that were there talked a lot about the way things seem to go in a manner that's been probably unlike, I just say, in a way that's unlike the last several conventions and years that I've been to. It seems this is a party that is unified. All right, I think we got him back. Yes, so Mr. Prosecutor, it seems like a party that seems to be unified right now, and that's an important note, I would think, going into this.
I believe it was. It was great to talk to so many people this weekend. And I really believe that people looked around and said, you know what, we want good conservative people to be our candidates. but we also want to make sure that we have people that have a chance to actually win in November. And so when, that first selection of the Secretary of State and first selection of Attorney General came through, I think the mandate is that, here's two people who actually have experience, know how to do the job, and we're not going to need training wheels when we get there day one.
Yeah, I think that actually says a lot too. As you mentioned, this is such a critical moment in time for our state. I've made the point often. 2024, as big of a moment as it was for us, I think as a nation, 2026, at least to me, seems to be just as important, maybe even more so for the state of Michigan, because we literally are at a crossroads here. I mean, that's where we're at.
Oh, I totally agree. I have told people over these last 8 months that this election, you hear it every time, right, Justin? This is the most important election. I believe this one is. We had the strength of President Trump and the people wanting to come out. Well, this election's even more important, and it's going to really take all of us to stand up and get our friends and say, we're going to get out and vote and actually vote for the candidates who are going to make Michigan better.
You and I have talked about this before, but getting Michigan back on track economically, but also that's important. But also, I'm just looking at all of the issues we've had throughout the years with the one of the most lawless Secretary of States, and of course she's running for governor now, wants to oversee her own election, and then you've got an Attorney General that seemed to be off the rails and doesn't really care much about what's happening in the state. She cares more about trying to sue Donald Trump at every turn that she could get. I mean, you're talking about massive changes, I would assume, that need to take place to get the state back on track. What is it going to take, and particularly from your perspective as the next Attorney General?
For me, it's going to have to be a complete realignment of the office. There have been so many people I've met across the state who have had interactions with the Attorney General, and their frustration, of just the lack of customer service, I think is how I'd put it. There's so much frustration there by the people that we're going to really need to get back to that. I always say that if you're going to be a public servant, that means you serve the public. I think the Attorney General may have forgotten that, and I believe that's the philosophy that not only myself, but the Secretary of State want to get back to as well. We're here to actually serve the people of Michigan.
All right, so let's switch into the general and some of those things. I mean, obviously, you've been pounding the pavement. You've been talking to folks as you're gearing up for this race in the primary. What are you hearing mostly from folks? Those main issues that matter most from people who are on the ground.
Sure, and there's so many, and it really depends, Justin, on what community you go to is what is important to them. From families that are just worried about crime that's happening in their community, worried about their, senior citizens that, that are being taken advantage of. We see that play out across the state. You got small businesses who are sitting there going, we're just overregulated. That's obviously what we're going to need, a strong governor to come in as well, who's going to help with actually allowing the businesses to thrive. But the Attorney General is involved in that as well. And in all reality, you have people who are just concerned with making sure that our elections are safe and they're transparent. And I always tell people that's where we're going to need to make sure that we elect a strong, Secretary of State. Anthony Ferlini was that guy selected, and he's going to do that job of making sure that we bring transparency back. We have to make it safe for everyone at all levels. And I think there's that people holding their breath that they haven't felt that way. And I believe that Anthony and myself give that opportunity for people to see that there is a different way we can go than the way we've gone the last 8 years.
We really are at a critical point here, and I think folks can certainly sense that. And I made it clear. I think if you want more of the same that we've experienced in nearly a decade now under this Democrat regime, then in fact you want it to be even worse, exponentially so. Whether you go back to that, drawing board. But if you want something completely different, if you want to get Michigan back on track, then it's time for strong leadership and folks to step into that role that are willing to put it all on the line and do the right thing and in tough times. And that's what we need most right now. Again, we're talking with Eaton County Prosecutor, the Republican nominee for Attorney General, Doug Lloyd. He'll be on that ballot coming up in November as we look forward to really putting the state back on track. Now, because I know the race just starts today. You had so much work that you put in to get to this point, but boy, you're just getting started, aren't you? Where do you go next? I know people are going to want to meet you, talk to you, and have conversations with you.
Well, I thought, Justin, that after last weekend and shaking 2,000 hands and, in 19 hours on our feet, our team just worked so hard. My son, Nick and Gary, the great work we did, that we might take a few days to regroup, but we're already scheduled to be down in Allegan County tonight. There's a gentleman I know who's running for judge down there that we want to go down and say hello to. And so we're going to just get into it. I have like 7 events already this week. And so for us, it's now about getting out and meeting everyone. We want to meet all those people, and we want to meet them at their doorsteps. So we're going to really get out there and just begin the process of getting our name even more known and letting the people know what our philosophies are, that we're really looking to get back to, that basic concept of, the rule of law and order. Those are the things that we should be bringing forward at the Attorney General's office.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's kind of like striking in how funny it is, and it really shouldn't be this funny. But isn't that quite a radical concept? Is just getting back to the rule of law here. And I would think that folks here in Michigan, as we see some of the massive things that are happening across the country, that really have folks concerned about where things are headed in the future. We're talking about law and order. That's safety for your family. And also making sure that there isn't like a 2-tiered system where there's, some folks and their cronies that get away with, God knows it's everything from murder to election fraud in some cases. And people want to see this ship righted. And I know that you've got your work cut out for you. But this is something that I think folks are going to be watching even more close this time around than ever before here in the state of Michigan. And one little thing that I'll add, because I know you've got a big list of events and whatnot coming up. How about this event alert? April 1st, Wednesday night, according to a message I was just sent, the Kent County Conservative Cigar Caucus hosting an event at Sticks Cigar Lounge in Watermark. If you'd like to come out and meet the next Attorney General and have maybe a chance to ask those questions, I think that sounds like a fantastic time. I might have to join you.
Well, Justin, I'd love to have you there. Yeah, I was once again blessed, throughout these 8 months of all the great people I've met, and that was one of the things they suggested immediately. And yes, we're going to go up a Wednesday and actually support Jason Tooney up in the 35th. With him, we got to get him elected up there, and then we're going to come down and actually be in Grand Rapids that night. So we look forward to all of that on Wednesday.
You got it, and more than welcome. Please come back when you have updates or things that are pressing that you think need to be talked about, particularly as the news warrants. Always welcome on the program, sir. Appreciate you taking the time, and again, congratulations. Onward to November.
Thank you very much, Justin. Have a great day.
You too. God bless. There he is, Eaton County Prosecutor Doug Lloyd, your next Attorney General of the state of Michigan. Wow. I think we got a strong ticket so far, folks. All right, we got more to get to. The fastest hour radio just flying by. And just getting started. More on the phones, too. We'll jump in and grab your calls. 616-774-2424. Use that that feature on the app where you get to sound off, click the microphone button, the talkback feature there. Let it rip. Rant, rave, questions, concerns, complaints. Well, maybe take a number. Or join the No Kings, folks. Back after this, folks. It's West Michigan Live.
FYI. Like, literally. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Monday, March 30th. I'm Robin Hoffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Michigan GOP delegates endorsing Macomb County Clerk Tony Forlini as the Secretary of State nominee, and Eaton County Prosecutor Doug Lloyd as the Attorney General nominee. They will be the only candidates nominated at the August convention to appear on the November ballot. In other news, it's spring again, and Governor Whitmer's Michigan Public Service Commission has approved another 9-figure electricity rate hike for consumers' energy. The $276 million hike follows a $153 million increase a year ago. And Republican Congressman John James, who's running for governor here, wants to take Michigan's education system from 44th to first place. James releasing a plan that aims to improve student performance. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
I'm Boomer Esiason.
All right, folks. Stand by. Laura says, yes, we do have a strong ticket so far. Now we need to come together and vote for a strong governor. That is the next piece. I think that that talk is already starting to happen, and I think there's lots of campaigning over the weekend at the convention. It's a couple of interesting moments. I could tell you that much watching some of the news on that. We're going to be talking to all the candidates like we always do, even up until August. So we'll give you a chance to weigh in there, give you a chance to ask questions. Want to make sure we do that. That's important. And let your voice heard. But you got to hear from all these folks. You may even already have your favorite, right? And I don't know that I've actually nailed down somebody else. Yeah, okay, that's it. That's the favorite. But there's a lot that can happen, between now and then. A lot that can happen between now and then. And we should say this too, by the way, and it bears noting that as that race continues and is just heating up, there was certainly anyway, I think a fantastic race run by all those folks, and great messages, particularly from some of them saying come together and now's the time to unite. I mean, that's critical moving into 2026, particularly in the general. We've got to get united here, folks. Hang on.
Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
I was just talking about this off the air, and it's important. Coming together in 2026, particularly towards November, it's going to be more important than ever before. And I think the best way for you to understand this is we saw candidates that were in these races at the convention over the weekend and that even came together and said, yeah, we're going to, we got to do everything we can to make sure that we hit victory in November. I thought it was great to see that. A lot of great efforts made there. But the reason I say is it's pretty simple. We're not even talking parties anymore. We're literally talking, do you want to destroy the state, or do you want to try to bring it back to its what great nature? And of course, these contrasts are drastic. You just look at the No Kings protests. We played you some of the audio from some of these freaks out from this weekend, and it is a stark contrast. And by the way, we haven't got into the funding. I'll do that in the after show. But we now know where these protests are coming from. We now know why they're being funded. And they do seem to grow in size. But the larger they grow, the louder they get. Obviously, the funding pushing from this. I think also what's particularly interesting to me is the less relevant they become to the average person. People this weekend weren't out enjoying No Kings protests. They may have seen it on the air, they may have seen it on television or somewhere in social media, but they don't care. They're living their normal, average, everyday lives. These people that were out protesting, largely unhappy. And they never will be. Anyway, that's just part of what I'm seeing play out, and look, it's like I said, it's a choice between, do you want communism, right, and the death, essentially, of democracy. These are people that actually said we want to support democracy, but they don't like the way that President Trump was elected. They don't like the fact that he was elected. They don't want anything that he's run on. They don't want anything that you support. It's just, and it's even bigger than that. Anyway, I like I said, I got all the audio and things that I could play, and I'll do some of that during the after show. But one of the things that I wanted to play, because I thought this was something. There was a massive protest march, sort of, and I guess it's probably the best way to call it, not a protest, a rally of some sorts, through the streets of D.C. And I'm curious how much of this you actually saw on the news. How much of this made it to the nightly news or CNN, MSDNC 13 now, whatever they're calling it.
Top part, yeah.
This was the video that we're watching. This is unbelievable. When you're watching it play out, okay, this is Washington, D.C. These are people that are lining the streets in support of President Trump and the United States action in Iran. These are people that are largely Iranians. I mean, these are actually people from Iran. And they are waving their flags. And I see a couple other countries in those flags as well. But these are people that have not the sort of the IRGC, the regime, the Ayatollah flag, right? But they have the old flag, or the flag with the lion on it. So these are people who are marching through the street. And the line is incredible in Washington, D.C. And I just wonder. I'd be curious. Have you seen any of this? Have you seen any of this on mainstream media? Have you seen any of this in the news at all? I highly doubt it. All right, we'll keep an eye on these stories and some of the others that are bigger and folks, I didn't even tap into this today, but it's something that must be covered at some point. You did hear it here in the Midwestern, or some of the reports here. Your electric bill is going up. Richard Whitmer has now allowed another increase to consumers' energy, $276.6 million rate hike. More on the Midwestern about that. And speaking of these insane protests and more, Mallory McMorrow, who's the Senate candidate on the Democrat side, Al Saeed is going to have a college tour, she says, with anti-Semitic streamer Hassan Piker. Now, McMorrow is another Democrat. Don't get it twisted. She's just as radical, wacky as he is, but she says she's opposed to this tour. It'll stream the flames and stoke division, she says. So those stories and more, we got to have, obviously, the coverage that you won't hear, I guarantee, anywhere else about these stories. Well, it's just part of what we do here. Part of what we do. All right, back at it with more tomorrow. Right here, same bad time, same bad channel. Yes, Love Bag program's coming up next. We got more on the after show that you can listen live or archived. The iHeartRadio app or wherever you download your podcast. Wishing you the best. Make it a great one. God bless. That'll be that day. Thy kingdom come. That will be done. This is the our daily bread.
Amen. Amen. The news is next on Wood Radio.
Guaranteed. With iHeart, everything you hear. All right, folks, clicking a few buttons and we'll get to it. Make sure you click share over on Facebook, Twitter X, we'll get our local YouTube. And yes, I will pick a winner Somebody's going to grab something cool out of the Justin store today before the stream moves up here. I want to get into the funding for the protest because I think that's important. That's a story that lots of people aren't covering. That's a big one. We'll do that. I want to show you some more just insane clips from this weekend, and we'll do much more coming up here in just a moment. Stand by. I want to click a few buttons here, and we'll get the after show fired up. The show after the show. Okay, here we go.
Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay.
Yes, the show after the show, folks. Welcome in. I'm firing on all cylinders. Fastest Hour Radio's flying by. Now we're doing the after show, which means you asked for it. You demanded it. We're giving the people what they want. Not enough time, they say. Not enough time to get through it all. We understand. That's why we created the after show years ago. And we are so glad that you are here with us today. All right, here we go, folks. If you haven't done it yet, now's the time. Go on over Facebook, even if you're watching on a different platform. Go on over and make sure you type it in, right? Lock in with us. You're going to get something cool from the Justin store, justinbarclay.com/store. Sure, you can go and shop now and support the program if you like. We definitely appreciate your support. Tees, hoodies, mugs, and we got new stuff coming soon, too. But somebody's going to win something cool out of the store at the end of the show today. So make sure you click share. Help us get the word out. We need your support. If you can help us click share, you could get in the running, and you may walk away with something very, very cool today. Anyway, thank you so much for all of your support and all of your help getting it done. The protests over the weekend. Want to talk about who's funding them, why this is happening, where it's going, but some of the stories that you will not and have not seen just yet. How about this out of Iran? Because this is another one. We showed you the clips earlier of not the protest, but I guess you call it a rally, the rally in support of what's happening in Iran, in Washington, D.C. Have you seen streets like this anytime soon? I don't know about you, but I don't remember the mainstream media showing us any of it whatsoever. I don't. Must have missed it. Must have missed Lester Holt doing it, or Mr. Anderson Cooper showing us the pictures. I didn't see that. Certainly didn't see this. These are people in Iran showing ruins of a police station and praising President Trump.
الان که داریم از پیش کلانتری چیتگر داریم رد میشیم دارم میبینم که اینجا هم زده داغون کرده. ترامپ دستت درد نکنه. هرچی کلانتری، هرچی مرکز نظامی، هرچی مرکز سرکوبگر بود نابود کردی. به زودی خودشونم از ریشه نابود.
You don't have the closed caption behind here or the translation for you. But we'll just tell you what they're said to be talking about here. By the way, this is posted by an account on X, which you can follow if you want to get perspective like this to find out exactly what's happening in these places. This is Iran International English. It's a news source. Again, they say a destroyed police station in the Trans-Chitkar area is seen after recent strikes as a resident says, "Thank you, Trump. You destroyed all the military and repression centers. Soon, they themselves will be destroyed." There's a video there sent to Iran International shows. And again, this is people on the ground. And it's what a just a wild contrast between the No Kings protesters this weekend who claim the place where they're allowed to actually have these protests. Do you know this? This is something I had to share over the week. It just blows my mind. Do you know that when these protesters go out on the street, they killed 30, 50,000? It's in question how many were killed. But they killed, the Iranian regime killed 30 to 50,000 of these people, protesters. And you got leftists waving their flags, the same people that are out protesting the No Kings. Make it make sense. Apparently, they're okay with kings, or they're not okay with kings, but they're okay with dictators. Radical, Islamic, communist, extremist, whatever. They fine with all that. They're fine with Maduro in Venezuela. No problems. No problem. They like Cuba is not an issue. But apparently, the place where they said, "Yeah, you go ahead, yeah, you guys are kings." But they're allowed to protest. I want to tell you something else about these protesters. It's a devastating story. This woman told me she's got family that is in the fight. And I want to be careful about what I say. I don't want to say too much, but she's got family in the fight who is actually on the ground, goes back and forth between this place and someplace else. And I don't want to get into all that. But what I was saying, they go back and forth. This individual telling me stories about somebody she knew, and I believe it was a friend of the family. The friend of the family there was injured in one of those protests. The people are fighting. They're fighting on the streets right now for their country. She's injured in one of those protests, goes to the hospital. The regime follows her eventually to the hospital and kills her in the hospital. Make that make sense.
King Reza Pahlavi. King Reza Pahlavi.
These are the people that are on the streets right now in Washington, D.C. saying thank you to Trump as well. Now, whether you think we should be involved or not, I'll leave that up to you. All I'm telling you is you're not seeing it all. And I've always felt this way. I feel like we need to be able to show you the things that you're not seeing. The son of the Shah of Iran, as you just heard him say, Pahlavi, that's the name of the guy who they say may end up being the replacement at some point. I'm not sure. I really don't know. He did speak at CPAC. There's a lot of question about this. Different folks have different thoughts on who they believe should be the next ruler. And I don't even know if Trump's going to actually affect full-on regime. What I've heard him say is he'd like for the people to do that. Prince Reza Pahlavi said at CPAC that the Islamic Republic must be dismantled in its entirety, warning that any remnants would pose. By the way, this is the guy, the Shah was his father. The Shah of Iran was his father. Now, wasn't necessarily a clean guy altogether either, but what is emerging, this guy seems to be like he would be someone who would be welcome. But I don't know. He said authorities are not negotiators. The authorities are not negotiators, that you cannot trust terrorists to build peace. But here he is talking over the weekend. He was one of the folks who was at CPAC.
Goodwill between our two people, which you see on vibrant display here today. To continue, we must finish the job. This regime in its entirety must go. If we do not finish the job and leave a rump of the regime in place, the threat posed by this Islamic Republic will not be solved. It will only be made worse. Those who have spent 47 years sowing chaos cannot be trusted to bring about stability. Terrorists cannot be trusted to bring peace. If they are left in place, they will bring only more of the instability, chaos, and destruction they have brought for 47 years. They are not pragmatists They are thugs. They are not deal makers. They are agents of chaos. But the other path, the path which finishes the job once and for all, will leave a legacy of peace and prosperity that historians and scriptwriters could only dream of.
It's wild to me because these people are living it. What they're going through is serious. And it seems to me like Americans are cosplaying. It's very much everything that we watch is made to, it's because it's all sanitized. It's all very clean. It's all very safe. It's safe to protest in America. Well, for the large part, the only thing you really have to worry about is leftist violence in America. So when they say they're like cosplaying, it makes them feel like they're doing something. They're not accomplishing anything. They're not really doing anything. They're not really resistance. You can't be resistance when you get full support from the mainstream media. It's just impossible to call yourself resist. These are the people, by the way, I would love to go through some of these clips with you, that were out on the streets for the No King's Day protests.
So what brings you out today?
No King's Day.
And why specifically are you out supporting No King's Day?
I think protest is important.
Why are you protesting?
How much time do you have?
She means I don't know. That's what she's saying.
Couple minutes. And what's the main reason you're out here protesting President Trump?
I agree with a lot of the decisions that are being made.
Is there any decision in
Give us one. So many, ma'am. Just give us one.
particular you disagree with?
Okay, so I would start with, well.
Here's the problem. All of this is based on feelings, how I feel. By the way, these people are easily moved around. They're easily motivated. They're easily poked, prodded, pulled. Whatever it is, they're easily influenced because their arguments, their realities aren't based in logic, truth, logic, and common sense. They're just not. And you know how feelings are. They're fleeting. They come and go. And it depends on who you are. Men tend to be more like logic-based. Women tend to be more emotionally based. And ladies, you know this. But this is, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it depends on what day it is. Depends on the hour sometimes, how you feel about something or something. Now, this is without any sort of foundation of truth, logic, common sense, and what's the truth. I mean, biblical as well. That's what's happening here. These people don't have any of that foundation. So they constantly be pulled around each and every day about how they feel. She doesn't feel good about this administration. She doesn't feel good about Trump. She doesn't feel good about any of his decisions. She can't tell you what they are. But she knows that the media, the echo chambers that she's in, have made her feel bad. And so what she's doing is she's doing the same thing that many of these people do, which is simply taking Trump or any other scapegoat, putting all of her negative feelings, all the bad things in her life, which largely are probably her responsibility, right? Those things, even the ones she can't control. She's putting them on Trump. That's what this is. And if it wasn't Trump, it'd be somebody else. He's just the most convenient example for this. But she doesn't feel good. That's why she's there with her little Burger King sign.
I don't even think it's a
Just stop her there. She doesn't think. That's now listen to the she can't tell us. She can't tell again. She's there. She's taking time out of her weekend. She could be doing anything. And she's there with this sign. What are you could be doing anything in the world? And you're there with the sign. And then when she's got the moment to be heard, when she's got the moment that her voice can actually make a difference, and maybe she can say something that can sway someone else into coming to her side of seeing things. What does she say?
I don't even think it's appropriate for me to have this interview.
So what brings you out today?
I don't think it's appropriate. Ma'am, you're standing in the public square with this homemade sign. You're begging for a guy with a microphone and a camera to come up and ask you questions. You're begging for it. And then when he does, you don't think it's appropriate. Why? It's because they can't take any questioning. There's no questioning that's appropriate. Don't ask questions, because then you're forced to actually think about what it is that you're doing, and you have to say something. Some of the best stuff online this weekend were the memes. Did you see it? No kings, all sheep. Yeah, I remember, and boy, I will never forget, folks. I will never forget. This was one of the biggest up there amongst them this weekend. Nick Freitas said, I'm old enough to remember when the same people shouting no kings demanded grandma die alone during COVID. This is who we're talking about. These are the people that are out there saying, yeah, the Trump is he's abusing his authority. He's gone far too far past where he should be. These are the same people yelling no kings, David J. Harris Jr. says, who listened to Bernie Sanders. You know, the guy who's been in Congress longer than the reign of Henry VIII. Well, it's not just Bernie, who's never had a real job. It's not just Bernie. It's a whole host of them. Think about it. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. These people, they're still kings, but we sure want these guys to serve as long as they can. Serve is not even the right word for it, is it? Leech off of us as long as they can. Here's Bernie in first class. He's fighting the oligarchy by flying first class while refusing to pay TSA workers their $23 an hour wage. What a hero Bernie is. All on No King's Day weekend. What a hero. These people are just, God love them. Yeah, and what about Fauci? Still no handcuffs for Fauci. What about that guy? Speaking of no kings, where were the no king protests when Fauci was controlling every aspect of your life? In fact, I thought this was fantastic. If you don't follow her, you should. Over on X, Patriot Post girl Heather Dow. She does some of the best meme work, and it's mostly Michigan focused. Patriot Post girl Heather Dow covered the No King's Day protest in a very unique way. She said, I'm old enough to remember when Michigan had a No Queen's Day protest. We didn't have to pay anyone or bus anyone in for that one. Governor Whitmer said it endangered people after she put COVID patients in nursing homes while taxpayer-funded TCF centers sat empty. It's incredible, and she's absolutely right. Do you remember how big this was? I'd never seen anything like it. Massive. The cars moving in to Lansing. The traffic was absolutely gridlocked, and people like never before. By the way, this is when all of that fake, the Fed-napping stuff started coming out about her. That was all tried to repair, by the way, her make people feel bad for her, try to repair her image because they saw how bad it got. And folks, again, this is just shows you the way people think about and look at these things, and they don't think about this stuff right. Yeah, most of the folks on the left aren't even thinking at all. So who funds all of this stuff? Because, when you watch what you see, these things that are popping up on social media, this is not organic. A lot of the signs, T-shirts, etc., they're all designed in the same way. They all the same font, all of that. Who's tied to this? One of those groups that is partially responsible for funding this stuff is called End.
I can register as Republican, right?
We do not have that.
Thank you. What's your name?
Christian. This guy was out trying. He was just kind of trolling there. You will watch what he does. It's kind of he's a comedian. He's Jimmy the comedian. But he walks up to the table. That's funny. You can see it says indivisible on the table. Look, indivisible. There it is. They paid to be there. You can see it in the back. Spokane Indivisible. They're paying people to be there. They're funding all of this. And this is a table they have. You can register to vote. That's part of what they're asking people to do. Let's get out the vote kind of thing. So here they are with the table. The guy goes up. He says, I can register as a Republican, can't I?
I can register as Republican, right?
We do not have that.
No. Oh, okay. I see.
Thank you. What's your name?
Christian with Crimson.
Crimson, nice to meet you. Thank you. We're here at the No Kings protest, and as you can see, there's a lot of people with a lot of pride flags. It's pretty gay here. I may need to take a shower.
My sign says, morons are governing America.
I got a question for you. How many genders are there?
How many what?
Genders are there?
There are unlimited numbers of genders, depending on how you want to define them.
Nice. Did you make that yourself? It's really cool. What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by this?
Yeah. Like, we don't want to kill anyone, right? No. So, okay. So what's the red for?
The red, anger reads.
The sign reads, democracy needs your courage. And the two last words, your courage, have red spelling out our rage. In what seems to be blood.
Anger rage. How is that blood?
It was because there was a lot of pain.
This kind of looks like blood. And she goes, it was a lot of pain.
Okay. Well, we don't want to kill anyone.
No, we don't want to.
Yeah, except for that one time with Charlie Kirk, right?
Sure.
These people. Oh. This was Spokane, Washington, where he was out on the No Kings protest. So there you have it. That's well, just some of the funding. And billionaires. Speak about, because here's the great thing. Look at this photo. They blame immigrants, so you would blame billionaires. Well, guess who actually funds this protest? Billionaires. In fact, there's a billionaire. We know George Soros is part of this. There's another one that's in Hong Kong that's been talked about recently. Singham is his name. It's just insane. It's insane. And of course, as you now know, it's mostly peaceful, mostly for the most part, and some of those signs weren't even the worst. This is New York City, by the way. Kill your local ICE. My painting on the building. Again, mostly peaceful. Aside from the random odd assassination attempt and whatnot. Did you see the flags in New York City too, buddy? This is Democrat. This is a Democrat coalition. They're showing you who they are. The hammer and sickle, the communist flag. I mean, this is nothing new. You've seen this.
Revolution! Working class revolution!
But they're open about it now in a way we've never seen before.
Solution. There is only one solution. Communist revolution. Communist revolution.
These kids, they have no idea. They're victims. I want people to take as much responsibility as they can or should. I really do. But these kids have no clue. They've never even been presented with a with the thought that would even challenge any of that. They have no idea what communism is. They have no idea what socialism really is. They have no idea the pain, the murder, the death that it's caused in the millions throughout the years. They have no clue. So they of course they embrace it. Speaking of those flags, Scott Jennings over in CNN nailing it.
These No Kings rallies actually look pretty representative to me of the Democratic coalition. I saw people flying the hammer and sickle in New York City. I saw Hezbollah flags. I saw Hamas flags. I saw Palestinian flags. I saw trans signs. I see weirdo
the entire circus.
Liberal boomers out there. This is pretty representative of the Democratic coalition, and that's
she's shaking her head. It's true.
Who funds it as well, by the way. And so I think if America looks at this and says, what do the two parties stand for? They got it at the No Kings rally.
No, I think if you Americans are out there, out there, Republicans.
You like hammer and sickle? You like hammer and sickle flag?
That's not what that No King stood for.
They had a bunch of them.
That, and that is,
they come from somewhere.
All right, well, No Kings rally? I did. I went to 6, and I'll tell you, there's so much excitement.
So CNN has to put these people marching with a Constitution. Fine. Yeah, no. It wasn't just whatever. Don't let people see it. Don't let them see that. That's the last thing we want people to pay attention to. Yeah. You can't make this stuff up. It's absolutely brilliant. Can't make it up. Well, the Senate supposedly is supposed to get to work voting today on this thing that the House passed. So what happened over the weekend? The TSA funding. So the reason I didn't cover this hardcore today is because Trump signed the executive order. The TSA agents are going to get paid. Thank God. They deserve to be paid. This whole idea that these people are out there working, not able to pay their bills, could lose their house, can't pay for childcare. It's absolutely disgusting. It's despicable that they won't do this. Meanwhile, these guys fly around in Congress. They fly around on their jets and they get their VIP treatment, get escorted right up to the gate instead of right through TSA. And the truth of it is, even CNBC, ABC right now, particularly not allowing, they're sort of not allowing the Democrats to gaslight anymore. They are confronting some of this. Chris Van Hollen confronted on ABC over the weekend with the truth of what's really going on. So here's what happened. The Senate sent this thing over on Friday. We thought the House was going to vote on Friday and think about 10 a.m. It didn't happen. In fact, the House came back and said, we don't like what the Senate did. And when you dig into it, it was suspect as we started to actually get the details about what they voted on, how they voted. So the House says, we're not going to do this. What the Senate voted on left out funding for a number of things. One of those is like the people behind the scenes that actually make things happen, not the investigative part of like ICE. But there's no funding right now for those people on the administrative side. And I don't mean bigwigs. I mean people in the offices that actually do some of the paperwork. So it's a big problem. The other thing is, I think with trafficking, there's some issues with child trafficking investigations that weren't funded as well. And as you know, that's another no-go. So the House decided we're going to do our own thing. We're going to send this back over. And I think there's a 60-day window on this. I just said I didn't cover this today as largely as because they're going to get funded. So thank God. This chaos will play out behind the scenes. But in the meantime, even the media is starting to wake up to this as they're confronting the folks at this Democrat, Chris Van Hollen.
I guess what's confusing here is you have fought and blocked the funding for the Department of Homeland Security because you object, as you just outlined, to what ICE has been doing. And you wanted to force changes. And yet, the only thing that has been assured throughout all of this is that ICE already has the money. Because as you said, $75 billion passed in the budget bill last year. Yeah. So you're holding up the entirety of the Department of Homeland Security.
Why?
Because you object to ICE and you want changes to ICE. But through it all, ICE continues to have the money it needs.
John, we're not holding up all of the money for all the Department of Homeland Security. That's just a false statement. We have said repeatedly, we should fund TSA, we should fund FEMA, we should fund the...
Don't just say it, do it.
Come on, don't just say it, do it. Actually put some feet to those words. Actually do it.
Coast Guard. We are not prepared to give ICE another $10 billion on top of the monies they already have and are using in many of these lawless operations. We're not going to give them another $10 billion unless they make fundamental reforms, including holding people accountable for the killing of American citizens.
And fighting over that additional $10 billion, you are holding up the rest of Department of Homeland Security.
We're not holding it up.
Yes.
I mean, you're saying, no, John, we're not holding it up. We have now voted 10 times.
Right, but you're holding up unless it doesn't include money for ICE. That's just a fact.
ABC now having to make this point. ABC having to make this point, and the gaslighting continues from Democrats. And folks, I'm telling you, this is going to get old. It certainly already has. Certainly already has for folks who are having to live in this scenario. So, like I said, This is something that folks are going to have to come to terms with. This is something that people are going to have to get. And I don't know how long, if people actually will eventually completely wake up to all of this. But there are things that I think people are slowly but surely, we're starting to see some of this move. But people are going to have to, the media lies. They lie. The Democrats allow them to lie. And unless it's a couple of unique situations like that situation. Is it John Carl? Is that who that was? Anyway, I think it's very rare that you actually get the truth. But some of these media folks understand that the tide's turning, and of course the people are done. They're done. Speaking of which, being done, hey, make sure you share if you haven't done so yet. Do it. Share right now on Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, and yes, YouTube. Facebook particularly, because we need to break the algorithm. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure you have click share so we can make sure that somebody wins something cool from inside the Justin store before we wrap things up today. JustinBarkley.com/store. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Tees, hoodies. Yeah, we got mugs. The only thing, we're sold out of a couple of things. There's one Justin hoodie, and then the Gulf of America beach bag is sold out right now. But grab something cool from inside the store. And when you share today, you're going to be in the running for something sweet. Congratulations today for our friend Stuart Yankee, who said best morning radio talent in Michigan. Thank you. That means a lot, man. I appreciate it. Stuart, you are our winner today. Inside. The sharing is caring. You see that a lot with the girls now, with the kids. You know, sharing is caring, right? Sharing is caring. So thank you, Stuart. I appreciate for caring, helping us get the word out, break the algorithm. We need it now more than ever before. Over at MyPillow, he needs it now more than ever before. Running for governor in Minnesota. He's always been a patriot, standing up for us, making great products at MyPillow. MyPillow.com/Justin. MyStore.com/ Use promo code Justin when you check out. Save big. Up to 50% off on the Made in USA sale. The coffee, the mattresses. Oh, man, they've got pillows as always. Towels. I love it. The mega sale happening right now, too. Here's what you do. Anytime you need anything like this, start with Mike first. MyPillow.com/Justin. Do it today. Healthwithjustin.com. You're making great big changes in the new year. Well, I have, and I'm down 30 pounds. And some of them aren't so major. They aren't so dramatic. They're just simple shifts that have made all the difference for my wife and I, who was also down another 30 pounds. And just feeling incredible. More energy, no aches and pains. Lots of folks report getting off their meds. Lots of folks report massive shifts. Not having is more the issues that they used to have, inflammation and like their arthritis and things like that. It's incredible how good you can feel. Making America healthy again starts with you and me. Check out the before and after pictures online, healthwithjustin.com. You can call Maha Missy, and she'd love to have a conversation with you. Talk about what it's going to take to get you back on track. Call 269-964-4444.
4044. That's 269-964-4044. Or go online to healthwithjustin.com and do it today. God bless.
I'm Dr. Kirk Elliott, founder of Kirk Elliott Precious Metals. After being in the industry for more than a decade, I knew there was a better way. It's an exciting time to invest in gold and silver with the most significant bull market I've ever seen. But please don't overpay for your stuff. At KEPM, we focus on low-cost bullion only, and we don't charge a commission when you sell. We would love to connect with you, so call our office at 720-605-3900.
Or go to goldwithjustin.com today.